Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something huge from Cal Newport's deep work, his Rule #3, Quit Social Media. And let's be clear, this isn't about becoming some kind of techno-hermit.
Not at all.
It's really about you grabbing the reins back, escaping what Newport calls that frenetic shallowness.
Exactly. Frenetic shallowness, it's a great term for it. It's about reclaiming your ability to do real, focused work, deep work.
Becoming more of a digital craftsman, maybe, less of a passive scroller.
That's a perfect way to put it. But the problem often starts way earlier with how we even choose these tools. Newport calls it the any benefit approach.
Any benefit. Okay, what's that?
Well, it's basically saying if you can imagine any possible benefit, however small or vague, that justifies using the tool.
Ah, I see. So maybe I'll see an old friend, or what if I miss some news? That kind of thing.
Precisely. But this logic, it completely ignores the often massive downsides. It leads straight to what he calls digital clutter, and it sets the bar dangerously low. It basically invites these tools engineered by the whole attention economy, to just walk right in and exploit our psychological weak spots.
Right, and that any benefit approach, It's not just making us a bit scatterbrained, is it? There's a real, neurological price tag.
Oh, absolutely. A big one is something Professor Sophie Leroy identified called attention residue.
Attention residue.
Yeah. Every time you switch tasks, even for what feels like a quick check of your phone, part of your brain's attention stays stuck on the thing you just glanced at.
So you're never fully focused on the new task.
Exactly. It creates this constant mental drag, this cognitive handicap almost. You're just not operating at full power. And doing that constantly over time, it seems to actually reduce your baseline capacity for deep concentration.
Wow. Just a quick glance leaves this residue. That's kind of disturbing. But is it just how our brains work, or is there something about the apps themselves?
Oh, it's definitely the apps, too. They are designed for this. Think about intermittent variable rewards.
Like a slot machine.
Exactly, like a slot machine. You pull the lever, maybe you win, maybe you don't. You check your feed, maybe there's a like, maybe a comment, for the nothing. That unpredictability creates a compulsive urge to keep checking. And mobile apps are particularly good at this, creating what feels like an addictive loop. They tap right into our basic human need for social approval. Ignoring a notification can actually feel, stressful, like you're making a social mistake.
And I find the content itself feels different now, almost engineered.
It is. Newport uses the analogy of ultra-processed food. Think about that.
Okay.
Like junk food, this digital content is algorithmically engineered to be hyper-palatable. Easy to consume, gives you a quick hit.
But it leaves you feeling...
Yeah, it leaves you feeling psychologically kind of unwell, anxious, maybe depressed. And crucially, it erodes your desire for depth. Deep work starts to feel boring, unappealing. You just stop wanting it.
Okay, so if these tools are actively rewiring us away from focus, we need a totally different approach, a better way to choose our tools. Is that the next step?
That's exactly it. Newport proposes the craftsman approach to tool selection. It flips the any benefit idea on its head.
The craftsman approach. Okay, tell me more.
Here, you only adopt a tool if its positive impacts substantially, and that's the key word, substantially outweigh the negatives, specifically regarding your core goals.
Your professional and personal success, basically.
Right. It's a much higher bar.
So how do you actually do that? It sounds demanding.
It is, but it's a clear process. 2 steps. First, identify your wildly important goals. Get really clear on your highest level objectives, both at work and in your personal life. What truly matters.
Okay, define the mission first.
Yes. Second, audit your tools against those goals. Look at each network tool you use, social media, news apps, whatever, and ask honestly, does this tool provide vital demonstrable support for achieving one of my wildly important goals?
Or is it just noise? Low value.
A distraction. Exactly. Be ruthless. This isn't just about tech. It's about defining yourself as someone who values quality, mastery, a craftsman.
But making that call objectively while you're still kind of hooked, that seems really hard.
It is. Which is why Newport strongly recommends a critical experiment, the 30-day break, a digital detox from optional technologies.
30 days. Wow. That sounds intense for a lot of people.
It can be, absolutely. But it's essential to break the addictive hold and actually gather some real data on what these tools do or don't do for you.
So what happens during those 30 days?
Well, the first week or two is often the toughest. That's the detoxification phase. You'll likely feel bored, maybe agitated. Newport says you have to embrace boredom. Let your brain relearn how to just be without constant stimulus.
Embrace boredom.
Okay. Then the remaining weeks are about rediscovery. What do you do with that reclaimed time and attention? Fill the void with high-quality, preferably analog activities, reading, hobbies, real conversations.
And then after the 30 days are up, you don't just jump back in. There are specific questions to ask, right?
Yes. 2 crucial ones for every service you quit temporarily. First, would the last 30 days have been notably better if I had been able to use this service?
Notably better.
And second, did people care that I wasn't using this service? Was there any actual fallout?
Okay. And if the answer to both is no,
then you quit it permanently. You now have hard personal evidence that it doesn't pass the craftsman's test for you. It failed the audit.
and if the answer is yes to one or both,
then you might consider reintroducing it. But, and this is critical with very strict rules, the detox gives you the clarity to set those rules.
got it. So for the tools that do make the cut, the ones that genuinely support those wildly important goals, you don't just use them like before. Use them intentionally.
Like a craftsman uses a tool. Purposefully.
Right. So first strategy, schedule your distractions. Don't just dip in whenever. Set specific limited times, maybe like 15 minutes at lunch, 15 minutes after work.
Something like that. And stick to it. The key is containment. It's about reintroducing friction.
It's exactly friction. Which leads to the second strategy. Tame your digital environment. Turn off all the notifications. Phone, computer, everything.
Huge step.
And for social media, get the apps off your phone. Seriously, only access them through a web browser on your computer during those scheduled times. That adds friction.
It really does. Those mobile apps are just engineered for impulsive checking. Removing them changes the game.
And the final piece, use social media as a tool, not just as mindless entertainment. Have a specific high-value purpose each time you log on.
Right. Not just see what's up, more like
I'm going to check these 5 specific industry experts for updates, or I need to find inspiration from these 10 artists on Instagram. Then log off.
Yeah. Define the job, do the job, get out. It's about friction and purpose. That's how you shift from being used by the tech to using it mindfully.
Okay, so let's bring this home for everyone listening. Here's your actionable takeaway. First, do your own digital audit this week. Make a list. Every app, every website that drains your attention. Then for each one, ask that tough question. Does this directly and substantially support one of my wildly important goals? If the answer isn't a clear yes, you know what to do. It needs to go or at least be seriously questioned. And second, try the 1-week scheduling challenge. Just for a week. Pick 2 or 3 specific 15-minute slots for any necessary social media or distracting sites. Turn off all those notifications, maybe even delete the apps from your phone for the week. Just see how it feels.
See what happens when you're in control.
Exactly. See what happens. Because the whole point of Newport's Rule #3 isn't about hating technology. It's about living with intention. It's about you being the master of your tools, not the other way around. Freeing up that precious mental energy for the work and the life that truly matters to you.
For productivity, for meaning.
That's the power you have, the power to redesign your digital life.
Right.
Why not start today? Welcome to the Deep Dive. So we've talked about building the case for deep work before, but today we really need to tackle its enemy, what Cal Newport calls the shallows.
Right.
You know that feeling, right? Whole day just vanishes into pings, emails, endless meetings. You're exhausted, but like, what did you actually accomplish?
Exactly. It feels like nothing substantial. That's the shallows sucking you in.
A day completely lost.
Yeah. And this deep dive is really about Newport's 4th rule, his final one, drain the shallows. It's all about taking back control of your work life from just being busy, making space for stuff that matters.
Okay, so let's define this enemy. What is shallow work exactly?
Newport describes it as non-cognitively demanding tasks, logistical things, often stuff you do while you're distracted, and honestly, it's pretty easy for someone else to replicate.
So like routine emails, maybe Slack checks, data entry, those meetings with no real agenda.
Precisely. The administrative glue. It contrasts sharply with deep work, which is all about that focused, distraction-free concentration. Deep work pushes you, creates new value. It's hard to replicate. Shallow work, it mostly just maintains the status quo.
Right. One builds, the other just keeps the lights on.
And look, shallow work is necessary. We're not saying eliminate it entirely. That's not realistic. But the human brain, it only has so much bandwidth for deep, focused effort. Maybe 4 hours a day, tops for most people.
Only 4 hours, wow.
Yeah. The danger isn't the shallow work itself, it's when it kind of creeps in and just consumes your entire schedule without you even noticing.
So why does that happen? Why do our days seem to default to this shallow stuff?
Mm.
Newport has this idea, busyness as a proxy for productivity.
That's a big one.
In knowledge work, it's often really hard to measure actual output, actual value.
Mm.
So what do? We fall back on what's visible. Answering emails quickly, being in lots of meetings, looking busy.
Performative busyness.
Exactly. Performative busyness. It looks like work, but it often gets in the way of creating real value.
And that ties into another concept, the principle of least resistance. Our brains, well, they naturally prefer the easy path. Faced with a tough, mentally taxing, deep work task versus, say, checking email for that quick hit of, I did something.
You check the email every time.
Almost every time, yeah. It feels like a small win, but it pulls you away. And it's important to see this as a systemic thing, not just, a personal lack of willpower.
Okay, so we see the enemy, we understand why it takes over. How do we fight back? Let's get tactical. First, strategy. Schedule every minute of your day. Time blocking.
Right. This sounds intense, but it's powerful.
You literally take your day, break it into, say, 30-minute blocks, and assign a specific task to each one. Draft report, answer emails, deep work, project X.
Yeah, but it's crucial to understand. It's not meant to be totally rigid. It's more like a map.
Yeah.
Or a plan for your day. Things will change, meetings pop up, tasks take longer, you adjust the map.
So it's about intention.
Exactly. It's about you having a thoughtful say in what you're doing, rather than just reacting to whatever pops up. It helps conserve that precious willpower and forces you to see time as scarce, which it is.
Okay, makes sense. Strategy 2. Quantify the depth of every activity.
Ooh, I like this one. It's revealing.
Yeah, ask yourself this question for any task. How long would it take, in months, to train a smart, recent college graduate with no specialized training to do this task?
Okay.
So maybe editing a complex scientific paper that might take, 50, 75 months to train, that's deep. But creating a standard sales PowerPoint from a template, maybe 2 months, shallow, routine status meeting, 3 months, shallow.
Right. And doing that forces you to be really honest about where your time is going.
Yeah.
It helps prioritize ruthlessly. Plus, it gives you actual data. You can potentially go to your boss and say, look, 70% of my time is on these 2-month training tasks. Can we create a shallow work budget or find ways to shift my focus?
That gives you leverage. Okay, tactics now. Batch and conquer. Strategy 3.
Yes. Grouping similar shallow tasks together.
Like, instead of checking email constantly, you schedule maybe 2 specific 30-minute blocks per day just for email processing.
This works because of something called attention residue. Every time you switch tasks, especially from something deep to something shallow and back, a part of your attention stays stuck on the previous task. It lingers.
Like cognitive friction.
Kind of. Studies show it can take over 20 minutes, maybe 23 minutes to fully regain deep focus after just one quick interruption, like a Slack message. Batching contains that residue. You deal with all the email stuff at once, then you move on. Cleaner.
Okay, strategy 4. Become harder to reach. This sounds a bit antisocial.
Maybe a little, but it's about professional boundaries. Not being available instantly for everything, making people do a bit more work to get your attention for shallow requests.
Like using autoresponders, saying you check email twice a day?
That's one way. Or adopting a process-centric approach. If someone emails a vague request, you reply outlining the exact info or steps you need from them before you can proceed. And honestly, learning to just not respond immediately or sometimes at all to emails that are super low value or ambiguous. Triage.
So it's about communicating expectations.
Exactly. Mark your deep work blocks on your shared calendar. Set your Slack status. Deep work until 2 p.m., checking messages after. It's professional, not rude. You're signaling you prioritize high-impact work and you will get back to people when you can give them proper attention.
Got it. Strategy 5. Embrace constraints, like setting a hard stop time. Finish by 5:30.
Fixed schedule productivity,
Yeah.
This one sounds simple, but it forces everything else. If you know you have to leave at 5:30, no exceptions, you can't afford to let shallow tasks endlessly expand to fill the time.
Parkinson's law, right? Work expands.
Exactly. So you have to prioritize ruthlessly. You have to batch. You have to be harder to reach. It naturally leads to using the other strategies. It really taps into that 80-20 principle. Limited time forces you to focus on the vital 20% of activities that drive 80% of the results.
Okay, one last one for the big stuff. The grand gesture.
Yes, the nuclear option.
This is for those massive, critical projects. It's about uh, leveraging a radical change to your normal environment specifically to support a deep work task. Newport gives examples like J.K. Rowling checking into a fancy hotel to finish the last Harry Potter book, or someone flying to Tokyo just to write without interruption.
It sounds extreme, maybe it is. But that significant investment, that dramatic break from routine, it does something psychologically. It overcomes what Stephen Pressfield calls the resistance. It signals to your own brain, okay, this is serious, we are focusing now. It ramps up motivation.
So, quite a journey there. We've identified the shallows, understood the pool of busyness, and covered a whole arsenal of strategies, from daily scheduling to, well, flying to Tokyo.
A full toolkit.
Right. So for you listening, let's make this actionable. 2 simple challenges to try. First, batch your communications for just 24 hours. Turn off the email pop-ups, the Slack notifications. Only check them intentionally, maybe 2 or 3 times at specific times you schedule. See how it feels. Notice the difference in your focus.
Just observe. No pressure. Just observe.
Second challenge.
Yeah.
Tonight, take 15 minutes and time block tomorrow. Sketch out your workday in 30-minute blocks. Assign specific tasks. Don't worry about sticking to it perfectly. The goal here is building the habit of intentionality about your time.
Yeah, it's about the planning muscle.
Exactly.
And maybe the final thought here is this. A deep, productive life, one where you're doing work you're truly proud of. It doesn't just happen by accident. It has to be designed. Draining the shallows isn't a one-time fix. It's essential, ongoing architectural work on your schedule and habits. It's this continuous, vigilant effort that really transforms your workday and makes space for what truly counts.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to pull out the key knowledge you need to be, well, truly informed. You know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
You sit down, big project, gotta focus. You tell yourself, just do it. Focus. And then, like, the next hour is just this battle against every little thing pulling you away. End result, you're drained, exhausted, and honestly, not much got done. That's the willpower trap so many of us fall into. So today we're doing a deep dive inspired by Cal Newport's deep work. Our mission, really, is to show why leaning on pure self-control for that hard, focused work. It's kind of a setup for failure. Instead, we want to give you a new blueprint. How to design systems, habits, routines, rituals that make deep work almost automatic.
It's a really interesting take because Newport flips the common idea on its head. Most people think, okay, tough work, need more willpower, more discipline.
Right.
But he argues that whole approach is, well, fundamentally flawed.
Right. So let's unpack that. This idea many of us sort of absorbed from psychologist Roy Baumeister. It's called ego depletion. Can you walk us through that? What did that theory suggest?
It felt so right for so long. Absolutely. Baumeister's work basically painted willpower as this finite resource, like a muscle. Every little choice, skipping the donut, staying calm in traffic, even just forcing yourself through a boring task, it drains this pool. So the idea was, by the time you actually get to your important deep work, your willpower muscle is just too tired, fatigued. And it felt right because, well, we do feel tired after making lots of decisions or resisting temptation.
Yeah, totally relatable if you've ever had a demanding morning and then tried to do complex thinking later. Feels real. But you're saying the science behind why we feel that way, it's shifted.
Exactly. There's been this replication crisis around ego depletion. Big studies tried to reproduce the effect and found it was either really small or, well, maybe not even there consistently. So this opened the door for other ways of thinking about it. Like Carol Dweck at Stanford suggests willpower might be more of a belief. If you think it's limited, it acts limited for you. And Michael Inslicht in Toronto proposes it's maybe more like an emotion, a motivational state. It ebbs and flows, leading us to just disengage sometimes. Not necessarily because we're depleted.
Okay, so with all these different theories flying around,
Yeah.
What's the bottom line for us, for someone trying to get deep work done?
The crucial takeaway really, regardless of the exact why, is that relying on in-the-moment willpower, it's fragile. It's just not a sustainable strategy for consistent deep work.
Too unreliable.
Totally. So the answer isn't finding more willpower. It's designing your life, your work, so you need less of it. Make willpower almost irrelevant.
Build a system.
That's it. Think about your brain. It loves saving energy. Habits are its ultimate shortcut. They put behaviors on autopilot, right? So you're not constantly deciding, should I do this now? How should I start? That frees up mental bandwidth for the actual hard thinking. Remember learning to drive. Exhausting. Every little thing needed focus. Now, you probably drive without much conscious thought. That's habit.
That driving analogy is perfect. It really shows the power of automating things. And Newport connects this to what's happening in the brain too, doesn't he? With myelination.
He does. It's not just about saving mental energy. When you practice intense focus, you actually strengthen the brain circuits involved. This process, myelination, it's like insulating the wires. It makes those focus pathways faster, more efficient, more automatic over time. You're literally wiring your brain to concentrate better.
Which leads us perfectly into how you architect that focus. You need the right context to build these habits. First up, your deep work cave. This means having a dedicated space, somewhere that your brain learns means time to focus. Could be a whole room, just a specific desk, maybe even like a certain hat or hoodie you only wear for deep work.
Or sometimes, for really big pushes, Newport mentions the grand gesture. Think J.K. Rowling famously checking into that fancy hotel to finish Harry Potter. It's a radical change, signals extreme importance. And then there's the hub and spoke model, like Bell Labs used. Common areas, the hubs for collaboration.
And private spoke offices for the heads-down isolated thinking.
Exactly, balances both needs.
Then, okay, you've got the space. Next is the pre-work ritual, your launch sequence into focus. This automates that transition. You decide beforehand where you'll work for how long, specific rules like phone goes in the drawer, no email tabs open. You get everything ready too, your coffee, maybe it's a specific playlist, research notes out. My personal trigger is making pour over coffee. That signals go time to my brain.
And just as vital is how you end the work session. There's this thing called the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains tend to get stuck on unfinished tasks. They just keep chewing on them.
Yes, that feeling when you can't switch off.
Right. So a proper shutdown ritual is key for actually resting and avoiding burnout. It involves, like, a final check of messages, getting all those open loops out of your head and into a trusted place, maybe quickly planning the next steps for tomorrow. And then you need a clear signal you're done. A phrase like, shut down complete. It tells your brain, okay, you can let go now.
Makes sense. Now, keeping the momentum going, Newport talks about the momentum flywheel. This taps into Teresa Amabiel's research on the progress principle.
Yeah, her work showed that making progress on meaningful work, even tiny wins, is the biggest driver of motivation, feeling like you're moving forward.
And there's a brain reason for that too, right? Dopamine?
Exactly. Finishing a task, checking something off, it gives you that little dopamine hit, which feels good, reinforces the behavior, makes you want to do it again, creates a positive loop.
So Newport's practical tip here is the compelling scoreboard. You literally track your deep work hours. Maybe draw a big X on a calendar for each day you hit your goal, like the Seinfeld method for writing jokes. Don't break the chain.
That visible progress becomes its own reward, fuels motivation, it's self-sustaining.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. Your action plan today. Stop trying to be a willpower superhero. It's exhausting and inefficient. Become an architect of focus instead. Design your system. Actionable step 1. Automate a deep work queue. Set a recurring phone alarm named Deep Work Start. Or create a specific playlist you only listen to when doing deep work. Make a powerful trigger. Actionable step 2. Pre-decide using what's called an implementation intention. Write down. Tomorrow, if when your queue, like my alarm goes off, then I will your specific first action, like close Slack and open my writing app.
That if-then structure removes the decision point. You've already decided for your future self, making it much easier to just do it. No willpower needed in the moment.
Exactly. And check the show notes. We put a link to a Deep Work Ritual Blueprint download to help you map out your own location, timing, rules, all that stuff. So the real secret to deep work, it's not about a stronger will. It's about building a smarter system. Go try those 2 actions today. Seriously, set the alarm, write down that intention. Next week, we're tackling another big one. Quitting social media and Newport's whole idea of craftsman approach to tool selection. Should be fascinating. Until then, stay deep.
You ever have those days, maybe even weeks, where you feel like you're just running flat out? You know, phone buzzing, emails piling up, scrolling through feeds. But then you get to the end, and it's like, what did I actually get done? It's this weird feeling, right? Busy, but not really productive. Makes you wonder if you're doing real meaningful work or just, I don't know, reacting to everything.
That feeling. It's super common. And it's exactly what we're diving into today. We're looking at deep work. This comes from the book Deep Work, Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. And really, it's about finding a smarter way to work, not just harder. It's kind of a countermeasure to all that distraction we just talked about. Our mission here is to light up a path for you towards, well, better productivity, learning skills faster, and maybe feeling more accomplished.
Okay, deep work. Let's break that down. So it's not just about concentrating, right? It's more like...
Exactly. It's defined as professional activities done without distraction, really pushing your brain to its limits. The kind of work that creates genuinely new value, improves your skills, and crucially, is hard for someone else to just copy. Think serious mental effort.
Right, and that's totally different from what the source calls shallow work.
Totally. Shallow work is the opposite. It's the stuff that doesn't demand much brain power, kind of logistical tasks you often do while, multitasking or distracted, like routine emails, setting up meetings, basic admin stuff. It doesn't add huge value, and honestly, it's pretty easy to replicate.
Okay, so there's this split, deep versus shallow.
And here's the core idea, the deep work hypothesis. It argues that the skill of doing deep work is getting rarer, but at the same exact time, it's becoming way more valuable in today's economy.
Rarer and more valuable. Why is that?
Well, it's rare because, let's face it, digital distractions are everywhere. There's this pressure to be constantly available, always responding. And it's valuable because, one, the problems we need to solve are getting more complex, they need deep thought. And two, a lot of that shallow work, it's getting automated. So deep work connects directly to two abilities that are like superpowers now: learning hard things quickly and producing work at a really high level, both quality and speed.
Okay, so if deep work is the goal, distraction is the enemy. You mentioned something earlier, attention residue. What exactly is that? Sounds sticky?
It kind of is. It's a key part of why distraction is so bad for quality thinking. Imagine you switch from working on a report, task A, to quickly checking email, task B. Your attention doesn't just snap cleanly to the email. A piece of it, like a mental echo or residue, stays stuck on the report.
So your brain's still kind of chewing on the old task.
Precisely. And that residue uses up cognitive resources. So constantly switching back and forth, that frequent context switching, it doesn't just make you slower, it actually makes the quality of your thinking worse for both tasks. You end up feeling mentally drained, but without producing much deep, valuable output.
That makes so much sense. Explains that feeling of being frazzled but unproductive. So the million-dollar question, how do we actually do more deep work? How do we make space for it?
Right. It takes being intentional.
Yeah.
And there isn't just one single way. The book talks about different styles or philosophies. Like you could be monastic, really isolating yourself for long stretches, or bimodal, switching between long, deep periods and then being available. There's also rhythmic, making deep work a regular daily habit, like exercise, or even journalistic, grabbing deep work opportunities whenever they pop up.
So you find a style that fits your life, basically.
Yeah, exactly. The most important thing is having some kind of structure. It's better than just hoping it happens. But no matter the style, there are key actions. You absolutely need to schedule specific blocks of time just for deep work. You should also create a kind of ritual to help you transition into that focused state. And having a dedicated space free from distractions is huge.
Okay, schedule, ritual, space. What else? I remember reading something about boredom, which sounds counterintuitive.
Yeah, it does. But it's about training your focus muscle. Think about those moments you're waiting in line or commuting. What's the first instinct?
Grab the phone.
Right. Resisting that urge, just allowing yourself to be bored for a few minutes, actually helps rebuild your ability to concentrate for longer periods when you need to. It's like strengthening your attention span. And related to that is being really intentional with your digital tools.
Like asking if Facebook is really worth the hit to your focus.
Pretty much. Do a cost-benefit analysis. Does the value outweigh the damage to your ability to concentrate? Because ultimately, deep work is how you do deliberate practice, the kind needed to truly master anything complex.
Okay, this is really practical. Can we quickly recap the main steps someone listening could take?
Sure. First, maybe just crack your time for a day or two.
Yeah.
See where your attention is actually going. Be honest. Second, start scheduling deep work, even just 60 or 90 minutes to begin with. Put it in your calendar like an important meeting. Third, create a simple pre-work ritual. Could be getting coffee, clearing your desk, closing tabs, something consistent.
Makes sense, like a signal to your brain.
Exactly. Fourth, practice that productive boredom we talked about. Don't fill every micro moment with your phone. And finally, be deliberate with tech. Turn off notifications. Schedule specific, short times to check email or social media. Don't let it interrupt you constantly.
So, wrapping this up, it really feels like deep work isn't just a nice-to-have skill anymore.
No, it's becoming essential. It's rare, it's valuable, and the good news is it's learnable. It's not some innate talent.
It's the key to actually mastering difficult things, producing stuff you're proud of, and maybe finding more satisfaction in what you do. It's about taking back control of your attention, which is arguably your most valuable asset. So here's something to think about. What could your professional life look like? What could you achieve if you carved out just one solid, focused, distraction-free hour each day for your most important work? What doors might that open for you?
Welcome to the Deep Dive. So we've spent a good bit of time talking about focus, deep work rituals in this crazy, distracted world.
We have, and it's crucial stuff.
But it feels like the promise, the real payoff of deep work, was always hinting at something. Well, bigger than just getting more done.
Exactly. And that's where Cal Newport shifts gears, moving from deep work to what he calls a deep life.
Okay, a deep life. What does that mean exactly?
He puts it really nicely. It's about living with energetic intention on things that really matter.
Energetic intention. I like that.
Yeah. In work, at home, and in your soul. And here's the key part. And not wasting too much attention on things that don't.
Ah, okay. So it's not just about work productivity. It's broader. Whole life redesign.
Completely. It's moving beyond just professional wins to a much deeper, more holistic kind of satisfaction, real meaning.
So if deep work is the how, the techniques, then the question we want to explore today is, what does this life of focused intentionality actually look like? How do you live it?
Right. And Newport gives us a framework. He breaks it down into 4 core pillars, areas that need that deep, focused attention.
Pillars. Okay, what's the first one?
First up is community. And this isn't just, contacts or followers.
Right, not just social media stats.
No, it's about nurturing genuinely meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
Applying deep work principles here.
How does that work? Deep work for relationships.
Think about quality, fully present interactions, like a family dinner where phones are away, everyone's actually listening, connecting, versus one where everyone's half distracted.
Ah, I see. That really resonates. Okay, pillar 1, community. What's next?
Second is craft. This is about the relentless pursuit of mastery. And interestingly, he includes quality leisure here, too.
Quality leisure, so not just vegging out.
Exactly. It's about honing an ability, applying skill with respect and care, he says. Could be your job, sure, but also music, gardening, coding, baking.
Anything where you're applying skill and getting better, finding meaning in the practice itself.
Precisely. It's leisure that actually energizes because it challenges you.
Okay, community, craft. What's pillar 3?
Constitution. This one's about deliberately managing your health, physical, mental, even financial.
So exercise, sleep, nutrition, managing stress.
Yes, all of that. Planning for it, prioritizing it, building systems for mental wellness. It's not just nice to have self-care.
It's foundational.
Absolutely. It provides the actual energy and resilience you need for deep efforts in all the other areas. Without it, the whole structure is shaky.
Makes sense. And the final pillar?
Contemplation. This is about tending to matters of the soul, as he puts it.
Okay, like what?
Creating intentional mental space. For reflection, for learning, wrestling with big ideas, understanding your own values and philosophy.
So things like journaling, meditation, maybe dedicated reading or study?
Exactly. Making time for that inner work.
So community, craft, constitution, contemplation. When you invest deep work energy into these, what happens?
Well, what's fascinating is that this is where deep fulfillment comes from. You find yourself hitting that state of flow more often.
Right, that feeling of being totally immersed, energized, focused.
Yeah. And this whole framework acts as a kind of antidote to what psychologists call the principle of least resistance.
Which is basically our tendency to just do what's easiest.
Yeah.
Scroll instead of study.
Pretty much. We gravitate towards shallow, easy stuff. But consciously choosing the deep path across these pillars, it actually starts to rewire things. Shallow stuff becomes less appealing over time.
That's a powerful idea. Fighting inertia. Okay, so if those are the pillars, the what, how do we actually do it? How do we make it happen?
Good question. It starts with a couple of core disciplines. And the first one might sound negative, but it's crucial.
Yeah.
The power of saying no.
Saying no. That can be tough.
It can be. But it's not about negativity. It's an act of selection. Saying no to one thing is actually saying a powerful yes to something deeper, something aligned with your pillars.
Like that Warren Buffett quote.
Exactly the one often attributed to him. The difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything.
Almost everything sounds intense. For people juggling a lot, how do you even start? Is that realistic?
It's less about a blanket no and more about intentional filtering. Newport suggests a few questions to ask yourself when a request comes in.
Okay, like what?
First, Is it ambiguous? Does it require a lot of back and forth just to understand? Second, does it genuinely align with your core goals, your pillars? Does it interest you?
So does this committee actually help my main project?
Right. And third, what really happens if I say yes or if I say no? Thinking it through helps you choose proactively, not just reactively.
Okay, that filtering makes it more manageable.
Okay.
So discipline 1 is intentional no. What's the second?
The Workly Review. This is your accountability rhythm, your way to maintain course.
Like a check-in on the pillars.
Sort of. It's got 4 simple steps. 1, review your deep work time. Where did your focus actually go?
Okay. Step 2.
Assess your energy investment across the 4 pillars. What were the wins? Where were the gaps? Be honest. 3, identify the obstacles. What threw you off course? Too many meetings. Didn't protect your time. Overcommitted.
Right. Learn from the week.
And finally, 4, adjust. Make concrete changes to your plan for the next week based on what you learned. It's iterative.
Got it. Review, assess, identify obstacles, adjust. That makes sense.
And you see how it connects. This review tells you what you might need to say no to next week.
Okay, so this gives us practical tools. What about something listeners can do, like right now to start?
Definitely. A great starting point is the distraction audit. Simple, but really revealing.
How does that work?
For a week, just track your main activities. Label them deep or shallow, but the crucial part is identifying the triggers. When you switch to shallow stuff, what prompted it? Boredom, anxiety, a notification.
Understanding the why behind the distraction. I did something like this once. Let's just say YouTube rabbit holes featured prominently.
We've all been there. But it forces you to ask that deeper question. What important, deep thing am I avoiding or being pulled away from?
It connects back to having something meaningful to say yes to. Okay, distraction audit. Anything else?
One more powerful ritual, the shutdown ritual. This is about creating a clean break at the end of the workday.
Preventing work thoughts from creeping into personal time. That Zeigarnik effect thing.
Exactly. Our brains hate unfinished business. This ritual tells your brain it's handled. 3 steps.
Okay, lay 'em on me.
1, the final sweep. Any new tasks, ideas, emails, capture them all in your trusted system. Get them out of your head.
Right, empty the mental inbox.
2, make a plan. Briefly review tasks and sketch out a plan for tomorrow. This tells your brain it doesn't need to keep worrying about it overnight.
Okay, sweep and plan. And 3.
Say the magic words. Verbally state a specific phrase like, schedule shutdown, complete, or whatever works for you.
Actually say it out loud.
Yeah. It sounds a bit silly, maybe, but it creates a clear psychological signal. This is non-negotiable. The workday is done. This really supports the Constitution pillar protecting that mental rest.
Sweep, plan, say the words. I can see how that would create closure.
It makes a huge difference.
So ultimately, this deep life, it's not like a final destination you reach.
No, not at all. It's a continuous process, constant alignment and realignment. You're the architect, always tweaking the design.
Designing your days, designing your life.
Exactly. And the power to start designing it with small choices, that's available to you right now.
It's about embracing that challenge, that focus, because that's where the richness is.
It really is. Humans thrive on deep immersion.
We'll leave you with that thought and a great quote from science writer Winifred Gallagher. I'll live the focused life because it's the best kind there is.
That's all for this episode of the Deep Dive Cast. Thanks for joining us. We hope you gained some valuable insights. Be sure to tune in next time for another deep dive into the world's best ideas. Until then, keep learning and growing.